Story 1. I've attempted all the significant dating applications and I never truly have a lot of karma on them. My companion let me know he was having karma on this promotion case or not. So I checked it out, and without skipping a beat, I was getting much more likes though. From young ladies I didn't actually find appealing by any means. Still, on my most memorable cluster of free swipes I matched this one charming blonde young lady named Julia. I'll save the subtleties of our discussion, however it went excitingly well. It was one of those interesting matches where the young lady was alluring and very responsive to my messages, appearing as though she was really getting a charge out of conversing with me. We immediately moved to Snapchat. I asked her for her number, yet she said, "How about we talk on Snapchat?" All things being equal, I was fine with that. I included her snap. Also, she added me back. Her snap score was low, similar to under 1,000, so immediately I was dubious. Also, resentful that this might have been as well great to be valid like I thought. She informed me and I informed back, being obtuse, requesting that she snap a selfie of herself only for my security. I told her there's a ton of catfish profiles going around, so I can't be as well cautious. She opened the message immediately, however didn't answer briefly. I thought without a doubt the record was going to impede me any second. In any case, rather shockingly, I got a notice that I got a snap from Julia. I opened the snap and it was something similar. Fair-haired young lady from the photos. Still, I wasn't persuaded, so I asked her to offer me a go-ahead or a gesture of goodwill. She opened the talk I was holding back to see. Assuming she hindered me this time, she didn't answer 2 or 3 minutes. Until at long last she sent another snap. I opened it and it was a portion of her face, grinning, holding up a gesture of goodwill. That was enough for me. I snapped her back and afterward we informed for a bit. Well, we in the end made arrangements to hang out. She welcomed me over to her home, which was across town, not excessively far away. She said she was home alone and that it wouldn't be an issue. She gave me an definite location. I saw she had her snap map on, so I did a little check to ensure her address matched her snap area. What's more, it appeared to look at. I told her I'd be over in a couple. I changed into nice garments, showered on some cologne, brushes my hair and got in my vehicle to head over. I figured I might have exaggerated it with the cologne. She snapped me while I was driving, inquiring as to whether I was coming. I told her yes. She read it right away, yet didn't answer. I got to the house. It had the number 22 written undeniable close to the entryway. I informed her that I'm here. She didn't, however, open the snap. So I chose to simply go ring the chime. There were no vehicles in the carport. Also, the grass seemed like it hadn't been cut in half a month. I rang the chime, however she didn't reply, so I began thumping truly clearly. At the point when she actually didn't answer, I returned to snap and had a go at calling her, utilizing that it recently continued to ring, however she didn't answer. Was I recently tricked? I unexpectedly heard a lady's voice hollering something at me across the road. For reasons unknown, I envisioned it to be Julia from the outset, so I understood it was an more established lady hollering, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" I started strolling back to the road and Assembled back, I'm conference somebody. She expressed back to me at a lower volume. Now that we were nearer, that I have the wrong house, no one lives there. I requested the location from the house, and the address she let me know matched the location this Julia young lady gave me. I said thanks to her and got in my vehicle. I went to attempt to message Julia once again. Yet, she obstructed me. I felt as was I stabbed in the back. They unrivaled me on Hot or Not as well. Fortunately, I took screen captures of the profile before that, since I sent some to one of my companions prior to heading to the house. At the point when I returned home, I sent screen captures to my companion Bunch Talk with like 8 others, inquiring as to whether anybody knew her. One person, my companion Darren, said that is Lisa, a young lady who ingested too much heroin 2 years a while ago. When he said that one more companion in the gathering visit affirmed he was correct. I got goosebumps in light of the fact that the snaps I got were from a young lady who matched that Lisa young lady totally. I told my companions and they thought it is possible that I was insane or the circumstance was insane, and point of fact certain the young lady no snaps was Lisa. How this happened I have no natural thought. Better inquiry for what reason was I prompted that house. I couldn't attempt to envision. It is possible that I was insane or the circumstance was insane, and point of fact certain the young lady no snaps was Lisa. How this happened I have no natural thought. Better inquiry for what reason was I prompted that house. I couldn't attempt to envision. Story 2. I'm exceptionally against dating applications. Yet, I suppose I'm one-sided in view of the awful experience I had with kindling. I've just gotten together with 3 individuals of all time. Off kindling, the initial 2 encounters were not a big deal. I wasn't amped up for both of the young ladies, and there were no subsequent dates. In any case, contrasted with the 3rd meetup, goody gumdrops. In examination, the initial 2 went wonderfully. I matched this brunette young lady named Annette. She had up for pictures, 3 of which she was presenting alone in what resembled her patio. The 4th one was before a lake. At the time I didn't consider it to be a warning that she was distant from everyone else. In every last bit of her photos, genuinely, why would I? Yet she was modestly alluring to some degree in my norms, so I conversed with her and I reached the place where she asked what I was doing that evening. Also, when I said nothing, she inquired as to whether she could come over and hang out, taking into account my room and my folks' houses in the cellar with a different entrance. It would work out rather pleasantly. We set a time for her to come over. At the point when the opportunity arrived, she messaged me in a real sense spot on that she was outside. Dependable, most definitely. I let her in the side cellar entryway entrance. Also, we strolled ground floor. I attempted to make the hello not abnormal yet right off the bat. Initial feeling, she appeared to be bizarre. Her reactions were short, her snicker was odd. At the point when we plunked down on my bed and I inquired her how long the drive was, she giggled as she didn't actually reply my inquiry. She just snickered like I made a quip, and as she giggled she checked me out. Her eyes actually open wide. It was awkward, and I definitely knew I wasn't going to flow with this young lady. I needed her out as quickly as possible. I turned the television on Behind the scenes for filler. Also, I profess to be chuckling at the television. In light of the steady abnormal quiets. Also, she never needs battered an eye to look at the television. She just watched me the entire time. I was ready to wrap it up rapidly by imagining. I got a text about going into work early the following day. Also, I suggested I expected to nod off. She seemed as she would have rather not left. It was very abnormal, however I made do to inspire her to follow me out the storm cellar entryway. At the point when she was at last gone, I needed to inquire myself, what did I just put myself through? Not so much as 5 minutes after she left, she messaged me. Are you certain you need to head to sleep? I was having some good times. I read the text inside. I tossed my telephone on the bed to charge while I went to get food higher up. At the point when I got back, I had 3 additional texts from her, 2 being question marks. The last one being hi with more question marks. This young lady was plainly nuts, so I hindered her. Endlessly done. I hit the sack 60 minutes afterward. I woke around midnight like I frequently do. I'm a light sleeper. It's, truth be told, irritating. Awakening arbitrarily isn't unusual for me. I intuitively looked about for my telephone to check what time it was. However, my telephone wasn't by its generally expected spot on the edge charging. What's more, I 100 put it there, so I kicked up and off searching for my telephone. I turned on the bedside portion of red drove lights. I had held tight the wall to light up the room only a tad. I was unable to track down it, however, and I'm thoughtful of the individual who will let that irritation me until I track down it. I went higher up to get the landline telephone and cut it down so I could call my number. At the point when I dialed my number, I heard it ringing from inside the kettle slice pantry, which was associated with my room. I went into the engine compartment and there was my telephone left on the washer machine, making the whole machine vibrate as it rang. I realized this was peculiar on the grounds that I didn't do clothing that evening. I didn't recollect going in there. I gotten my telephone to see a lot of new messages from some irregular number. I opened the texts to see 2 pictures. Pictures of me resting. Over the photos were 2 texts saying, decent steady employment impeding me. The subsequent one saying, lock your entryway in the future. Furthermore, I understood what a numbskull I was that I was so restless to get her out of my room that I didn't actually lock the entryway when she left. Then I can't say without a doubt. In any case, I felt like I was in good company in the room. Like I just felt another presence, and I had an inclination that she might have been taking cover behind the chamber evaporator in the most obscure corner of the room. However, I didn't go look. I went higher up to get my folks and call the police. Considering that the young lady was adequately moronic or sufficiently insane to leave a computerized impression following her and getting charges squeezed on her was simple. Her name wasn't so much as Annette. Her genuine name was Silvana. Her charges were a breaking and entering charge and a following and badgering charge. I obviously got a controlling request, and I've at absolutely no point ever heard from that young lady in the future. Story 3. In secondary school, I was in a major graduating class, so therefore I didn't get to know a great deal of my colleagues on a individual level. Utilizing dating applications in school, however, I had the option to match and sort of associate with a great deal of the young ladies I'd never addressed back in secondary school. I was utilizing my application of decision when I matched this young lady, Maria. She was in my grade in secondary school. I followed her on Instagram and Snap. As of now, yet I never truly got to be aware her in secondary school. I sent her the main message and inquired her how she'd been. I conversed with her about secondary school a great deal. Furthermore, how it was amusing that we never truly talked or had any classes together. She said we ought to hang out that evening. I inquired as to whether she'd need to meet someplace for drinks or food, yet she expressed she's down to simply come hang at my place, assuming that is cool. Truly, I like that thought stunningly better. I told her sure. She inquired as to whether my folks were home. I told her no, my sister. Then, at that point, I gave her my location. She said she'd tell me when she's coming. Then it was only a cat and mouse game. I paused. What's more, hung tight for the warning saying, Maria sent you another message. It was happening recent. I, truth be told, sent a subsequent message on Kindling, however. She didn't answer. A couple of moments later I really look at her Instagram page and saw she posted a story a couple of moments back. It was an image. Was she overlooking me now? I checked her Snap story, which was posted inside 30 minutes. What's more, she was evidently with her companion, one more young lady from our secondary school. I didn't comprehend, was she coming or not? I remarked on her story. Are you actually coming later? She opened it a couple of moments later. Furthermore, answered, expressing out loud, whatever are you talking about? I rehashed the inquiry, then, at that point, added a reference to the discussion on the application. She answered, I don't have that application, send me the profile. So I did, and she let me know immediately it was a catfish and to report it. I did so, and I think Kindling naturally unparalleled the profile. After that, however, I wasn't worried about somebody utilizing this young lady's photos. I was concerned somebody had my location. Furthermore, realized my folks weren't home. I ensured each entryway was locked. I really was anticipating that something should occur that evening. In any case, it was getting really late and I was beginning to feel somewhat more loose. At the point when my gatekeeper was down, that is the point at which it happened, a terrible shout from my younger sibling's room. I leaped off the love seat to go hurry to her room. She opened the entryway similarly as I made it to the room, and we met at the entryway. She had this alarmed look all over, like she just saw an evil presence. She shouted that there's somebody outside her window. I could barely handle it. She ran higher up while I went to her window to affirm it. There was nobody out there now except for I realized it was anything but an incident. I attempted to call my folks, yet I couldn't snag both of them. My sister dozed in my room with me that night since she was terrified. I just hit the hay subsequent to pausing down the stairs for an hour, tuning in for anything conceivable. At the point when I was at last in bed, that was when I heard a clamor. My sister heard it too, in light of the fact that we both set up at precisely the same time. Our folks shouldn't have been back. That evening I went to lock the room. entryway and afterward got 911 on the telephone. I murmured into the telephone that I was certain we were presently the survivors of a break-in. I advised my sister to be calm when she begun making crying clamors. Strides moved toward the entryway then. Somebody took a stab at contorting the door handle. Also, they began beating on the entryway and, in a profound, furious-sounding voice a man said, "I know. You're in there. I can smell you." The 911 administrator heard it and she advised me to conceal in the storeroom with my sister. I waved my sister over to the storeroom and she came. We sat in there unobtrusively the best we could. Be that as it may, he kept endlessly beating on the entryway and my sister broke. She shouted out, "The police are coming. Don't bother us." The banging halted. We heard the man chuckle, then there was quietness. Next thing we realized the police were outside and the administrator told me to immediately get to the front entryway if the coast was obvious to give the police access. The police then did a careful examination of the house which was clear. The passage and leave point was my folks' room window which he moved through. Off the terrace canopy. My younger sibling shouting about the police probably frightened him away. The police suggested we rest elsewhere, so we went to my companion Joe's home. From that point forward I generally confirm whoever I'm conversing with from on the web is really who they say they are. You